Hello everyone, it's Kari, and today I have this beautiful set that was a collaboration between Hero Arts and Altenew with this big, giant, beautiful bloom. And I am going to use this stamp set and these watercolor brush markers from Altenew to show you 3 different ways to create a card and 3 different ways to use these watercolor markers. This is a beautiful set. It comes with 10 different colors, and I'm also going to be using these water brushes. So I've removed that large flower and put it on the Misty here, and now I'm choosing a sentiment. This stamp set is a large stamp set. It's a 6x8, if it gives you any idea. And this paper that I'm using here is watercolor paper. I believe it's the Canson XL paper. And I'm going to stamp that large giant bloom on the paper with some Versamark clear sticky ink because I'm going to heat emboss this one in gold. This will be for my first card here. You can see how giant that flower is. This is a regular A2 size card, so it's 4¼ by 5½, and look at how that flower just takes up most of the paper here. It is so pretty. So I have stamped it a little offset for this one, and here I'm going to gold heat emboss it. I chose the sentiment that says thank you, but there are really a lot of beautiful sentiments in here, like we are better together, have an amazing day, live life in full bloom, hello lovely, take time to smell the flowers, and they have beautiful font. So there's a sans serif together with a cursive type font. I really love them. So when you first start using these water brush markers, you have to remove that little yellow plastic ring. So you just unscrew the top and pull that out. And this color here is the rouge color. Now I'm going to take off the yellow ring for the ruby red. I want to just kind of get familiar with these colors a little bit. This is the first time that I've used these watercolor brush markers. This is the Winter Wonderland set, and all the colors are so bright and vibrant. I actually was surprised. I didn't expect there to be that much pigment in these watercolor brush markers, so it was a big surprise to me. The first way I'm going to show you how to use it is to mix the colors together. I'm going to add the yellow here. This is called Citrus Burst. So we're going to create kind of a peachy pink toned flower by combining all 3 of these colors. So I'm going to start by adding some water with my water brush. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to let the water do all the work for blending these colors together. So I'm going to first add a little bit of water to a few of the petals. I'm just going to do a few at a time. And then I'm going to drop a little bit of that yellow in there to the 3 petals that I added the watercolor to. And then I'm going to blend that out just a little bit. I'll add some of the lighter color, which is the rouge. I'm just going to drop a little bit of color. A little bit of this actually goes a really long way. So you don't need to add as much as you think. That's one thing that I was pleasantly surprised with, how much pigment these have. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to continue on in this way, and then I will add in some of the ruby red to darken up some of those middle portions there. So you can see I'm adding just a little tiny bit of ruby red, and then I will just blend it out just a touch, and that gives it a little more depth. So look at how bright and vibrant this flower is. It almost looks like it's on fire. I used to have a rose bush that was this color, and it was like peachy pink with yellows. It was so bright and beautiful, and I loved it. I'm going to take some of this Altenew spray. This is the Mountain Mist color, and I'm going to use just a little tiny bit of this, making sure to shake it well before I use it. I'm going to put a little piece of paper down and use my scrap paper here to cover up the flower. This way I can add a few sprays, and then I'm also going to add, I had to test that out there, and then I'm also going to add just a few extra drops. So I'm just trying to get some bigger drops here, and then I'm going to set that aside to dry before I finish the rest of this background. Now some of those drops came out a little bit big, so I will fix a few of those, and look, I smeared that one. But no worries, because this is easy to fix. It's water soluble, so you can always take a little water to it and fix it that way. So this spray can also be used as a watercolor. I use this around the entire perimeter of the flower to give it some more color on the background. After I finished this card, I realized I could have used the watercolor brush pen because there is one that is Mountain Mist color. So either way, it would work. But I just wanted to get some interest and some splotches to, I shouldn't say splotches, more like splatters to this background. So we're going to move on to the next technique, and that is adding color directly to the paper. So I started out with the ruby red onto the rouge, citrus burst. This here is Mountain Mist. Then we're going to move on to the lagoon color. By the way, this lagoon color is my all-time favorite color. Look how pretty that is. But, you know, if you're going to do this method, you have to be prepared for a very bright background. And I'm going to show you. The next color is Emerald here. And that's this really dark, beautiful green. And then Persian blue is the last color that I'm using here. And it is a really pretty blue. It does feel a little bit purpley, like a purpley blue. And I'm going to show you how to mix these colors to get a more true purple in just a minute. So I'm going to take a brush with some water on it and just smooth those out. I will dab off the brush in between so that I don't get a whole bunch of mixing of the colors. But look how pretty these smooth out and very, very bright. This again is watercolor paper, Canson XL. I'll link to it below if you're interested. And it worked really well. It really did move on this color. Now I did not tape this down. And so you're going to see a little bit of curling for this paper because I just wet the front of it and not the back. But that's okay because once this dries, it will flatten out and it's just fine. To create a flower that was bold enough to match this bright background, I'm going to go ahead and use the wet on wet technique again with just one color of the watercolor markers. And that's my favorite color, the lagoon. I thought this was just such a beautiful, beautiful color for a flower. I will color this in a really quick time for you, but I wanted to show you that first I lay down some water, then I add in some of that beautiful dark pigment, and I just have this on a kind of a palette board here on the right. I got this from Art Impressions, and I love using it for mixing colors. Now look how fast this is coming together. I sped this up like 20 times speed, I think, for you, just so you could see the flower come to life. I will add darker color to the inside portions of the petals and just keep it going until this flower is completely colored out. Isn't that fun to watch in fast motion? It almost looks like stop motion. So fun. So there's our flower, and I will fussy cut this so that I can add it to the background. And look at that background. It is so bright. I thought I would use some Glitz glitter gel over the top. This is how I store my stencils. I have this stencil here. It's the stone stencil from Altenew. And I'm going to use some Glitz glitter gel over the top to kind of tone down that background just a little bit. By the way, the background remained really, really super bright. But this was a fun technique, and also I learned something new. Because this Glitz glitter gel has quite a bit of water content to it, it actually moves that watercolor around. So if you're going to use this, use it very quickly. Watch this. As I kind of smear this down, you can see that the blue, which is the brightest color here, the lagoon, my favorite, starts leaching into the yellows and the greens. So I'm going to try to clean that up, but there's no way to stop this because of the high water content, and that's just the way it is. So I found that by adding a little more of the product and just moving very quickly down the card front, then I had a much easier time instead of trying to drag it multiple times. Look at that. It did tone it down just a little bit, but you still see all that beautiful vibrant color coming through. This is a really happy card, don't you think? Is this too bright for you? Let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to hear what you think. So the last technique I wanted to show you was to mix some of the colors together to create new colors. I'm using that same palette for mixing, and you can see I added quite a bit of the blue to some red to create more of a purpley color. There isn't really a purple in this Winter Wonderland set, and I wanted a purple because we're going to create a rainbow of flowers here. Now I have heat embossed 2 flowers, one on each corner of this panel. It's hard to see because I heat embossed them with some clear embossing powder. So by doing that, it's going to keep the color beneath it, so it'll keep that white, creamy color of the watercolor paper, but it also does capture some little pockets so that I can keep the colors in there where they should be. So it won't blend out unless I want it to and lead it to do that. I started with the purple that we mixed, and then I added some of the red there. Now I'm going back up for some blue, which is that Persian blue. And see, it kind of is a purpley blue. Doesn't it look like it? But you can see that the red blue that I mixed beneath it is definitely has more red in it. So now I'm mixing a few more colors together here to get just the right green blue or blue green so that I have a color that will go really well in between the lagoon and the mountain mist and the emerald. I just mixed some colors together till I got the colors that I was looking for this rainbow flower. I usually go ahead and add a little bit of water to tone those down, and I add a base coat of the color, and then I'm going to add some more color on top, and I'm going to speed this up so that we can finish this rather quickly as well. As I was looking at this watercolor set, I realized there were 3 colors I had not used yet. That's the jet black, espresso, and metallic silver. And I was intrigued by that metallic silver because I thought, oh, this is going to be fun for maybe a background. So I used that between the rainbow flowers here, and to me it looks more like a gray. I guess it has a little bit of shimmer in there. However, it did look more gray to me, but that's fun for a rainbow card also because you make me happy when skies are gray, right? So I just add a little bit here above all the flowers, just trying to get more of a darker look for that background. And there is our watercolor panel. I'm going to dry that off really quickly using my heat tool, and then I'll add a few more darker colors just to give it a little more definition and depth. So pretty. These flowers and these colors of these watercolors are really, really pretty. I did like that a lot. You can see that I'm going rather quickly through this as well. So I did work at this just a little bit more, adding more color, adding more interest, especially to that yellow. I thought the yellow needed a little something. And I went back and forth till I was happy with it. So there's our panel. I went ahead and cut out a few leaves from one of the die cutting sets from Altenew. I'll have that linked below. And I had colored these up with some rainbow colors, watercolors, and then I stamped from this sentiment stamp set here in that lagoon color so that it would all match. And it says sending love and hugs, which I thought was appropriate for this time. I'll add that to the card base, and here's all the cards we made. For this one that we did first, I added a gold frame to that to match the gold embossing. And for this one, I added a thanks die cut in gold foil paper. And here you can see the beautiful rainbow flowers that we made. So there's 3 of the cards using this Winter Wonderland set with the bright, beautiful watercolor brush markers. I hope you enjoyed this process today, and you'll break out your watercolor brush markers to give them a try. Try it with some wet on wet techniques, some direct to paper techniques, and also mixing some colors to get some brand new colors that you might not have in your sets. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I really appreciate all the comments and the thumbs up and having you come back again and again. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel if you like this video so that you don't miss a thing. I'll be back real soon with some more inspiration. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.